Hello, I'm Kieran Doodle and I'm the Chief Inspector in Edinburgh's Prevention, Interventions and Partnerships team. Whilst I'm appearing virtually at this event, we have Sergeant Valerie Gray and PC David Clark from our Equality and Diversity team in attendance, and they would be delighted to speak to you in person about any issues you might wish to raise. Our presence here today is the culmination of nearly a year's worth of dialogue and discussion with your community president, Lamin, John, and Eddie, and many more to understand how we can better serve the Gambian and the wider African communities here in Edinburgh. This has led to some really meaningful engagement work in Leith Links and a community football event that saw Inspector Gordon Duff don the boots for a kickabout. His feedback was so impressive that I'm already in training to take my place in the squad for next year, alongside meetings at stations and joined working to resolve incidents. Throughout all of this work, the focus is on ensuring all have a say in our communities to shape policing to your needs. We are lucky to have your community advisors and community leaders so engaged with ourselves, and I would like to thank you all for opening your arms and welcoming our officers and myself for your hospitality, your excellent food and culture, and your time. In Edinburgh and throughout Police Scotland, under Policing Together, we want to ensure fairness, equality and respect, and that all have a say in our communities, and we ensure inclusive societies where we tackle hate crimes. I've been impressed at how united the community is, but I want to make it clear that we know each community has its own distinct traditions, as well as potentially their own concerns and issues they'd like to see police support or respond to. With that in mind, please make use of Valerie and Davy, who can provide a range of advice and guidance. We also have an officer here today from our Public Protection Unit who will provide an input on how they work to tackle violence, domestic offences and sexual abuse, as well as the reporting mechanisms and support networks available to you. I want to leave you with a commitment to continue to build relationships, have meaningful engagements, and ensure all have a voice in our communities. Thank you.
He's lucky about it with us as well today, so he'll be giving an input on his role as well. But we'll be here for the next kind of 5-10 minutes or so if anybody wants to speak to us about anything, feel free. But if there's anything you think about later on, Lamin's here and you can certainly speak to him and here's our details, and we'll get back to anybody that's got any issues or concerns and things like that.
Yeah, like the Chief Inspector was saying, we work in a team called the Partnerships team, which covers Edinburgh, and we've got good links outside Edinburgh as well, that if we can help if anyone lives outside Edinburgh, we can help you find the right people as well. And really we're just looking to see what our communities in Edinburgh want and need from us, and address that and find the best ways to do that. So if there's anything at all, if you've got youth groups that you're working with that you think speaking to the police, or hearing about the police as a job, or hearing about how to be safe in the community, or whatever it might be, or if you've got church groups, or if there's elderly members of your community that you're worried about their safety in relation to frauds and scams, we've got talks about that. So yeah, if there's anything at all like that, if there's comings together of people that you think we might be able to just come and meet, just so that you've got a contact in the police and that you know who to get in touch with if you do ever want anything like that, then you can reach out to Lamin and he can put you in touch with us and we can sort that out. That would be amazing for us.
One thing we'll add is we're really grateful. It's quite humbling as well how welcome we've been made, Lamin, by everybody over the last year or so. Whether it's been at football or various other events we've been at, as well. We've been so welcome, but we know obviously that maybe people within the community don't trust the police, don't want to speak to the police. So we're that kind of avenue there that you've got as well, through Lamin, we could come ourselves. We're quite happy to speak to you about anything.
Yeah, and we love coming to your community events because they're the most fun out of all the ones that we get invited to. The best music, the best food, the best atmosphere. The one in Leith Links was the best day at work I've had in years and years and years. So yeah, does anyone have any questions? I appreciate it.
Yeah, so feel free. Anybody want any question, feel free.
That's okay. We've put you on the spot. We'll plant the seed and.
No, I think it should. What you like facing also like family, kids, you know, son. So no, they're here, you know what I mean. So because it's hard when you go to the police station, you want to see these kind of people, you cannot see them. So but the opportunity they're here. So I think it's a very good opportunity then to have a chat, you know, we have a chat with them. So really, it's really good because I know we all have a problem with our homes, you know. So, well, you know, with our kids, you know.
We can set up a question and answers session as well. I mean, at some point through the year, if there's, you know, if the younger folk want to come along here and have questions for us, or the other members of the community, you know, that want to come along and speak to us, then anytime you want.
Yeah, we're always looking for reasons to come out. Outside the office is our favourite place. We don't like being stuck inside. So any reason to come out and meet good people.
Is there any direct contact number?
So there's we've got a team email address is the best way, just because we're so rarely in the station, but we all carry mobile devices with the email. So Lamin can circulate. Do you have a mailing list for the attendees today that you could share our team email address with?
Yeah, I can.
I could write it up. I'll get a pen and I'll write it up here for you. Share them with your own communities, maybe about staying safe online, maybe about frauds and scams, about sextortion, which we're seeing in the UK. Our young men in all communities are being really vulnerable to being extorted online, thinking they're in a relationship, doing, you know, exploring that relationship in ways that young people do, but they're doing it online, and it's really dangerous. So we can send information out, just even if you don't want us present, but just so you've got the facts, that you can speak to your own family or your own friends or your own community, and see if they would like to speak to us in more detail. So yeah, so our team don't do just in relation to the email address, please use it. We can't take crime reports over it, so if you're reporting a crime, you need to go through phoning 999, just because that's just not a facility we have. But if after the crime the community's feeling an impact, or there's some worry about safety in the home or something, that's our job to sort of make sure afterwards that everyone's okay. But just so, yeah, we'd hate for you to email in a crime to that and then not get the right response, because there's people better for that. So yeah, anything?
Please, more question, because what you say is very interesting. So these people, you don't see them at all. They have their own office. They don't go on the street. So we're lucky to have them here. So please.
Yeah, come on, Anthony will introduce himself. So Anthony's what we call a special constable. He can explain, he'll understand better than me what that is.
No.
No, I think, the name is Anthony. I think I was at, a few weeks ago, we lost one of our friends, our daughter, our sister, and the scars, we still bear the scars till today. And I think it's important that as women that we speak up. The first thing when I got that news was, I said to myself, this is happening. People knew that this was happening. Friends would have known, somebody would have known somewhere. Sometimes it's easier to turn the other eye and just say that, you know what.
Which is true for all of us. UN will talk about different ways to report. So if walking into a police station is too scary, which I totally understand, there's loads of other options to try and keep the people in your life safe if you do have a worry. But UN's going to talk about that a little bit, I think. Yes, he's nodding, that's a yes.
Yeah,
so he'll talk about options that you have. And again, if that's something you want more details on, or you want those details to go to other community groups, then we can go through that in more detail with other people. That's not a problem.
Yeah, Ian will take us through how to report, but it's important that we know that we can report. And the question is, I know some of us will be thinking, am I safe? Is somebody going to disclose my details? How would I report anonymously? It will take us through that, but please, let's be our sisters, our brothers' keepers. let's report. There's nothing, I mean, officers will come, officers are trained in this area, so they won't just come in.
No,
So
absolutely.
again, he will talk to you about this, and then you can begin to engage. The other thing is also in terms of racism as well. I know it's happening. It's also important that we speak out as well. Don't say that the police won't do anything, or it's crime. Don't say we won't do anything. We will do something. But it's better to report it than not to report it, because at least if we report it, it's enabling us to build a picture of what is happening. But if we don't report it, then we won't know anything at all about it. The chief executive, the chief inspector, the police executive, they prioritizing the welfare, the integration, the support, the connectivity of minoritized ethnic groups. We've got community advisors, we've got community relationship specialists. They are all going around the country. So there is a major commitment from the top.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Davy in particular goes out to all different community groups that's linked to protected characteristics, be it race, religion, disability, and has an input where he can explain what a hate crime is, because a lot of times people don't even realise that they are on the receiving end of a hate crime. They say, oh, that's a horrible person, but they maybe don't realise it's criminal. So Davy can come out to community groups, particularly young community groups, so we can start to change generationally, we can start to improve from the ground up. He can come out and explain what is lawfully and legally acceptable in this country, which is very little when it comes to discrimination, and also ways to report it, what to expect when you do. And realistically, we will always try our best to arrest someone in relation to that. If we don't have the evidence, what we can do is offer support. But the most important thing is the statistics about hate crime do not represent what our communities are dealing with. If we look at the numbers, it doesn't look like a big problem. We understand every individual who faces it, it's horrible, but it doesn't look like an epidemic. But then when you speak to communities, you hear that it is happening over and over and over again. And if the numbers show that, then the investment will follow, the support will follow, more money will be put into addressing it, more money will be put into training to address it. And so if nothing else, if the only outcome was that we knew the numbers, the long-term impact for our children, for our children's children, would be so impactful. So if nothing else, if you can encourage people to report, then it will serve our communities better. We will do better for them if we get that. So that's my plea, is if someone does something, you phone the police.
There is a mechanism to report as well called third-party reporting. It's getting re-looked at the moment to see how it works, reviewed. But that's a way that people can report something by going to a different organisation, to reporting it online, where they don't actually have to come to police. You can do it completely anonymously, and we would feed back then to the organisation that you've gone through to get you the feedback on the inquiry that was done. As I said, it's been reviewed at the moment, but that's one way that's been in place since, well, it was a murder in 1993 in London, so third-party report came in after the review back in 2000 something. So it's been there for a while, but it is a way of contacting us without us coming to your door, so we can still make a full inquiry without having to speak to yourselves.
The other thing is, one of the benefits of reporting is that there is also a support system, victim support.
Yeah, victim support. There's wonderful support out there. There's some really bespoke support depending on who you are and what your needs are, but there's things like victim support, which is a big overarching support agency. There's some wonderful support out there to help, because the impact on a person, a family, a community, on having received, hate is we don't want that impact to keep affecting people. We want to try and support people to a positive place in relation to it. So we can absolutely help with that as well.
That's something we specifically look at every
Gambian
day. We have a briefing at 8 o'clock every morning, and then hate crime is something we specifically look at to see who's been targeted. Is it a repeat? Is it something that's been particularly nasty? And is there some sort of support that we can give to the person who's been targeted? We also look at the person who's done it as well, or the area it's happened in, to see if there's things that we can put in place. But we need people to report.
Yeah, we need the information.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions before they'll go? Another opportunity?
Right there.
How are you all? One of the key areas is our kids growing up within our community, which is Edinburgh. Here is where we belong, and this is where our kids are growing up. These are our Gen Zs, and that, for instance, protecting them, it's key to us. But we understand the circumstances of our relationship with police, families, or the community and police. So what is more important is here is the association of our kids and interacting out of our space, and the vulnerability in that, and the tendency of the culture of what the Southerner, what the culture of, let's say, the London style. Right. Because for us, people like us that works with the community, we are very much aware of that. So I'm just thinking the Gambian Association also, it's time to start having that recognition like other organizations, whereby get that support, where we can also be an advocate of how do we mentor our little ones here with the very support of yours as an institution. Because it gets to you at the final step and it's back. So, but we can do it as a community.
Well, that's what we need.
Yes. So that affiliation is very important. I'm just mentioning that probably Lamin and the rest, they're winding out. Their days are, as an executive, there will be new, executives that will be sworn in this coming month. So we need that relationship, whereby the protection of our young ones.
And you're absolutely right. We more often than not hear about it once it's gotten really bad, but we would love the opportunity to come in right at the start in a proactive manner and in a positive manner. So we do a really interesting project around religion where we go into primary schools. Normally about 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old. Primary sixes and sevens. So myself and Davey will go into the primary school with someone from the Muslim faith, someone from the Christian faith, someone from the Jewish faith, and we will sit with that class and all get to know them and show them about community cohesion and about what you can learn from each other and about how the police can protect all those members of the community at the same time. And that's something that's available to any school in Edinburgh. So for example, if you have children at schools in Edinburgh, get the school to seek into that. They're the type of things that we see make a difference. Of course we want to be here for you when something goes wrong, but those are the before it goes wrong is where we see the difference being made.
Before So that's key to us. So it's an organization that is in the reform and trying to re-establish our position in here. That's a relationship we want to share with parents so that our little ones that are coming up, how much are they protected in our community? That's very key to us because that's where...
That's our job. Right, see what you're saying there, right? Our department's prevention, intervention, partnerships, right? The prevention side is we're talking at youngsters. That's it, it's education, it's there. It's not just telling them what's right and wrong, but supporting them as they come through as well, not just,
It is very good what you're doing, but the connection, the linkage between our community and police usually is not great. Because the fear factor or the trust level with you is not within our community. So that's why always the face of the organization which is the Gambian organization.
Yeah.
And that's the face of where they interface. So that partnership, it's where it is key, building that partnership strength whereby we get privy to first-hand information, how we drive the youngsters and avoid this gang culture and all those other things, vices that comes with it. That's key to us as parents who have kids growing up in this community. That's my little
Well,
any ideas?
Anything you think of, right, I think you think are specific maybe to your community, right? Get us on board.
Yeah, any ideas you've got to help us improve that, we will 100% commit to it.
I think what we've got so far, John, is we've got cases coming out now as well, which maybe, hopefully you've got Anthony here as well, maybe get something a bit of trust starting. A long way to go. Long way to go, but
we're getting there.
Can I add a few things, please? I just want to appeal to everyone here. I know we are mothers, we're fathers. If I were to go around the room and say to you and ask a question, what would you like your son or your daughter to be? I'm sure somebody will say lawyer, doctors, architects, engineers, and
my mum didn't want me to be a police officer, so it's okay. That's not specific to your community, my community too.
But the reality is that policing impacts your life. And if it impacts your life and my life, the question is, why are we ignoring this profession? I keep saying to people that policing is the most important or the most powerful organization in the society. If you commit a crime, if anyone commits a crime, and if you like travel anywhere in the world, the lawyer or the judge will convict you, but who did they send after you? It's the police. If you are a politician today, who guides you? Police. If you commit a crime, who comes after you? The same politician, the police. So you can't escape from this. And it's important, I just want to plead with us. Encourage our sons to join. It's nothing bad. Encourage your daughters to join the police, to wear the uniform with pride. Don't call the police names. If you criticize the police in front of your children, how do you expect them to join the police? They won't. If you keep calling, when you see the police, you're on the phone to your friends and you condemn the police. I'm not saying don't condemn, but don't do it in front of the children. Because what it does, I've spoken to a few boys and girls, and they just say to me that, you know what, my parents, they talk about the police.
It's just the Gambian community, we are so scared of police.
Can I ask you a question then, right? See within the community, if something within the community is happening, right? Who deals with it?
Police.
No, I'm not, no. Who deals with it initially? Who deals with it?
The Gambian community?
You go to each other, or?
We talk to each other or the elders.
Right.
We do the elders first. And then if we cannot do anything about it, you call the police. But for us Gambian community, police is like, it's an enemy.
Yeah, I understand.
So you go to police, that's the end of you and that person. So that's how we feel about it. But not here, like, here you don't have those elders talking to you, but you have the police here who will solve your problem.
So policing here, right, is the way we are expected to do our jobs, and the way we police is we're basically members of the community, right? We don't do anything that anybody else would be expected to see. You know, if you see somebody breaking into a house in your street, you're going to do something about it, right? Something happened in front of you, you're going to do something about it. That's our job. We do the same as any other member of the community, because we are members of the community, but we're paid to do it. So we're not doing anything else that I wouldn't expect myself to do if I wasn't in the police and I was out there. You know what I mean? So we wear a uniform to do it, but we're still part of the community. That's quite simple.
We are always open to ideas. We understand that it's scary. Like, we understand that the police in every country is different, but in the world it has the same reputation. We're treated as the same as American police officers, the same as London police officers, the same as Chinese police officers. And like, I have nothing in common with a police officer. Like, I've done training in America with the police. We had nothing in common. They were lovely people, they were wonderful, they're trying to do their best, but they work in a community with different laws, with different... We don't do the same job, but we understand that from the outside looking in, and you see the world news, and you hear from your own communities at home what's happening, and you see the thing, particularly American news is so everywhere. We're just overwhelmed by American news, that it's difficult to distinguish that Scottish police, we are different, we absolutely make mistakes, and we absolutely do things that result in our reputation being impacted poorly. No one wants to fix that more than good police officers. Good police officers want whoever in the police who's done a bad thing to be dealt with. We want to know about it. But if you have any ideas that will help us break down barriers with your community and reduce that fear, then we would love to hear them.
Yeah.
I think actually we have to commend you for coming. This is one of that steps to breaking that barrier.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming to community events, like our sister said, there is that barrier and instant fear. Us against them is like a status quo, and like you said, it's not. You're not isolated in that situation. It's a universal thing. People generally just don't like things. Yeah. But like you said, you're here to protect us, to offer that security, and it's important that that relationship is fostered. And I think this is the right step forward, coming to the events and making sure that there's nothing to fear about us. And you know, we're here for you, we're working with you, rather than working against you.
Yeah, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so far for what you've done for our community. From the High Commission, I have to extend that gratitude, actually. We appreciate all your good work, and you are our friend.
Thank you. You too.
Can I use your imagination for once? Imagine there are 4 of us here, 3 of us here. Imagine we are Gambians. How would you feel walking into the room and only to see 3 Gambian police officers? How would you have
The
felt?
feeling may not change, because even in Gambia, it's the same. We don't like to put Gambian police.
My dad was a police officer in Gambia, and still you have that.
It's the same.
I've worked with the police in some areas of Africa, not Gambia, and they face the same. Zambia, Malawi, same.
It's just African in general.
Actually, what I'm going to say is, in Forest, I think we are very lucky in our community to have police contact.
We try, we try.
Because like, if you see the commander, sometimes he phone me, Lamin, how are you? How's the community? I say, oh my God, look at the woman. He passing on to that position. Not understand me, just normal person to phone me and just say, Lamin, how are you? How's the community doing? So anything, we are here to help.
Lamin made the mistake of giving Kieran Dougal his phone number, and Kieran Dougal loves to talk. Doesn't he? Yeah? And you get off the phone?
You know, because even now when I'm working, so I'll just be seeing his phone. I say, okay, let me phone back. So no, really, gently. So people, our community, we should know this. We are lucky to have this kind of people. Because when you have a problem, you go to the police station. It's only like how do you call it? Just low police officers you deal with. So you're not going to go to the high. Some cases, it might not go to anywhere. But if you know this, like officers, I think it's very important. You understand? Our community, they're here to help us. They're not here to dig in people's problem, unless you have a problem. So people didn't understand this. If you have a problem, of course they'll deal with it. But if you are ordinary person with people, of course they're here to help you. They will talk to you. They have a family to go to. So it's only uniform. But you meet them on the street, you don't even know they are police officers, unless you see them in the uniform. So people, we need to understand this. These people, they're here to help us. We know that we have a bad police officer, let's hunt them and report them. Say they shouldn't do that job. And that's the reality. People, they need to understand that. Because if we don't report them, the police, they're not going to know whether they're good officers or they're bad officers. But when you report them, they, of course, they don't ignore it. They have to deal with it. So I just want people to understand this. Really, if you're not happy with anything, contact them. Obviously, they're here for everybody. You have some people, they are racist, we know that. But at the end of the day, if you know you're right, that person can get into trouble. So they are here, they are our family, They are our friends. And I'm happy all the time you come to our event and they go, you know, like the football.
Yeah,
They're still talking about it.
yeah.
They're still talking about it. So it's good, but you never see this kind of interaction, you know, with the black community.
Yeah, police team at the next football event. That's
So
the goal.
next year,
team.
we want to understand full team. So that's why I want to thanks you all, you know, to be honest, if coming, taking your time, it's weekend, which we all understand. So you should be maybe drinking or seeing your friends. So people, they should know that you have your life. It's not only the uniform. So you go to like gatherings, you go to anything, you know, like with your family. So if people in the community know that, you understand, these people, they're here to help us. They're not here to hunt us, and they're not here to destroy us. Unless people want to destroy themselves, they will not live here alone. And these are the reality. People, they need to understand this. So we are very lucky. And so, I don't know, if you go and tell Karen, I'm very pleased to have him in our community. All the time, you'll phone me, Lamin, how are you? How's it? Sometimes I'll be walking in, so I'll see his missed call. Oh, that's good. I say, oh my God, look at this officer like me, phoning me.
Yeah.
So this is what we want. I want everybody to know this. It's very, very important. So let's save our family, let's save our kids. These people, they're here to support us. So, and my big brother there, Papa, thank you all. I mean, he's a legend. Yes, really. You know, so big thanks to him as well. He's always here to support, you know, all the time. So really.
So I just wanted to say something, just a minute or two. I know you guys have been engaging each time we invite you to our events, and like everyone says, we are happy to have you here all the time and always. But this, what I wanted to say is not something for the police, it's for the community. As we all know, I'm glad they talk about hate crime and harassment, abuse, and so on. A couple of weeks ago, I was verbally and physically assaulted in a park in front of my children. Some do know. And then just recently, a friend of mine was, there was a hate crime that was committed. Go back home was written right in front of her door, which make her very, anxious and paranoid. And I think we've taken the right step, reporting it to the police as a hate crime, which they actually acknowledged, and they visited the person, and the case is ongoing. Likewise, my case also. I just want to tell Gambians, like, we are sisters and brothers. We shouldn't be fighting or let aggression or violence, divide us. And if anything like that should happen, there's always, like they say, somewhere to go. We cannot keep ignoring these things because it's actually happening. We can't ignore it. It's happening every day. The verbal abuse, face-to-face, especially online, within us Gambians, we should always talk about these things and try as much as possible not to support it. We should try and eradicate these things that divide us. If we are calling each other to come together as a community, these are the kind of things that can divide us. These are the kind of things that can destroy us. So I'm just begging everyone. This has happened to me. I was furious, I was angry, I was mad that it happens, and it happened in front of my kids and other people's children. They end up crying, but I have a heart that forgives. I thought about it, and I really wanted to forgive. From the bottom of my heart, I did. But I want to set one example, that it is not right for you to put your hand on someone else. It is not right for you to look at a person and verbally abuse them as well. So just to set one example in the community that this shouldn't happen, the case has been escalated. I was updated about 2 weeks ago that she was traced and charged. So it will be going to court. I am not doing this just to I don't know, humiliate the person, but I am doing this for the community to know that you have a right. You shouldn't be abused. You shouldn't be verbally or physically abused. You can be mentally abused, financially abused. All those things are not welcome in our community. So I just say I will share this with you guys, and hopefully it will never ever happen again. And then maybe if it does happen, we will know the steps that we need to take. So thank you very much.
And I'm St. Hans, and you can email us if you can think of anything that we can do for this group or any other groups that you're part of, then yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Come along to speak to you today. There's a couple of different reasons. Mostly, as an introduction, my name's Ewan Sobey. I work in the Public Protection Unit of the police. The Public Protection Unit is a sort of wider unit that deals with a lot of quite serious incidents, a lot of sexual offences, offences against children and domestic abuse, which is where I specialise in. Most of my work is in domestic abuse. Part of me being here is we're a department that is actually quite, everything's done behind closed doors. It's not as secretive, but unless you need us, unless you're involved, even the police themselves often actually don't know what we do because it is quite behind closed doors. So I think the main reason what I'm going to try and speak about is just to give you a bit of an insight into what we do, because people don't know it. It'll give you access to us. I'll give you more warning than Davey and Val gave you. I'll answer questions at the end. So if there's something you think of that you want to ask, please ask. The other thing that we do is that it's very based on victims, complainers, people who are in distress and people who need help. So it's not all about crime actually. So a lot of what I say, my specialism is in domestic abuse. A lot of what I say will cross over amongst lots of other crimes as well, lots of other experiences. So my examples may come from domestic abuse, but that isn't all we do. In Scotland, the most recent figures we've got are from 23-24. For some reason, the 24-25 ones, there's been a bit of a delay in getting them. But just in Scotland, in that 1 year period, there was, in the region, it was a bit over, about 68,000 incidents of domestic abuse reported for Scotland, which is really a high number. Of those 68,000, about 90% of them, of those incidents, took place inside the home address. So the vast majority of them have taken place inside the home address, where there's no one else present, or it's the family that's present for that. So we have real difficulties sometimes in getting into to know what's happened and what's been reported. It's also one of the most underreported things that are crimes that happen in Scotland. We think that only about a quarter of the domestic crimes are reported to police. So it's hugely underreported. So that 68,000 turns into almost 250,000 when you multiply that up. So that's probably a more realistic number for how many incidents there are. Which is why my department is, well, I think it's quite important. I'll also point out, part of the reason I've been asked to come along today is because I really like my job and I'm really enthusiastic about it. However, I also appreciate it. For most people, it's not actually a very happy topic. So I'll come across really happy when I'm talking about this because I'm enthusiastic about it and actually do. But what I actually speak about is not very pleasant because it's crimes and it's against people who are vulnerable. As I said, there's probably in the region of 250,000 domestic crimes that happen in Scotland, domestic incidents. Not all of the domestic incidents turn into crimes. It's only 38% is what the number is that goes from a report to police to a crime being recorded. But it's still a lot of crimes. It's in the region of 20,000 crimes being recorded a year. With that, one of the main things that I do in my role is not just about pursuing people who've committed these crimes, It's actually about safeguarding people who need our help. So my department, specifically what I do, reach out to people who've been the victims, or who, not even if it's a crime, but if there's been an incident and we think someone's at risk, we will try and offer any support and help we can. We feel like we deal with some of the people who are the most vulnerable in our community, in the country. It's people who are at risk of harm. I mean, of the crimes that are reported in domestics, the highest one, the most common one is physical violence. So it's about 38% of the crimes that are recorded are to do with assaults. It's then like general abusive behaviour, like threatening, shouting, swearing, being aggressive, acting violent towards someone without actual physical violence. And that can be on the phone as well, or electronic means, as well as in person. There's also been a bit of a change, and this is saying it's not recent, it's from 2019 it came in. But legislation, the laws in Scotland changed to include domestic abuse in general terms of course of behaviour. So it includes now, it used to be very difficult to prove a lot of bad behaviour. So it included assaults or thefts or vandalism, like sort of standard crimes. Was what changed in 2019. It was based on research, and it showed that the pattern of behaviour to domestics, it is a pattern. So it takes in now psychological, financial, emotional abuse as well. So I think in our department we're very good at actually just listening to people, because what from the outside may look relatively innocent, when it forms that pattern of behaviour, actually it can be bad. We spend a lot of time talking and listening to people. Like I said, what we do in my department is not just about investigating crime. Actually, we have a much bigger focus on helping people. And that's, I think, why I really like where I work, is because I am focused entirely, like all my time, all my day is focused on trying to help people. The help that we do in our department for domestic abuse, it varies. Like we try and tailor it to the individual who needs it. That might be that we refer them to partner agencies. There are people who don't like speaking to police, and this is not just from the Gambian community, this is Edinburgh at large. There is sections of our society that do not trust police and do not want to speak to police. And that doesn't stop us wanting to protect them. But we do appreciate, from a domestic point of view, we're not always the people that can do that best. So we do have partner agencies that we work with, voluntary organisations, we work with social work, we work with council, we work with Women's Aid, and there's Assist, which is a men's version, and there's also a domestic abuse charity for men as well. So we do a lot of referrals to partner agencies who we don't focus on that crime, we focus on the safety of that person. So we do a lot of work. We can help as well with things, not that we've got much power over, but we do sometimes help with trying to sort out alternative accommodation, safety plans, alarms, markers, even things like cameras, phones, helping people with phones, it's really important. So I do think we're quite good and quite effective, but there's still only 25% of these cases being reported, and that is replicated. There's lots of crimes that happen that don't get reported. But I think the sort of reason I'm saying this is it's understood that there's crimes that aren't reported. It doesn't mean we don't care and want to try and protect everyone. It's why Davy and Val do a lot of prevent stuff. So they know that a lot of crimes won't be reported, but if they can get in, they can still have an influence and still help. Hopefully, even when things haven't been reported to us. As I said, with domestic abuse, 90% happens at the home address, so behind closed doors. And this can cause issues, and I know they kept saying that I was going to talk to you about how to report things. They then talked, I think, a lot more than they were planning, and spoke about some of them already. Domestic abuse is a bit different in some ways because of that behind closed doors. So it's also a really difficult one for people to report, because a lot of the time, most of the time, domestic abuse is happening in a relationship. So people have feelings and loyalties to their partners. They may want help or want support, but are unable to ask for it because of that loyalty. We appreciate that. We're not trying to break up families or anything. What we're trying to do is just make sure everyone's safe. Everyone in the country has got a right to safety. That's what we're trying to do, is protect that right to safety. Reporting, the most common way it is reported is people phone us directly. So if it's an ongoing emergency, 999. If it's something later that's not an emergency, 101. If you're the phone number is 101. If you're ever in doubt and not sure, I would always say phone 999 instead, because that's the emergency line. That's the most common way. People do walk into a police station, but it's not so common anymore. More people use the phone. They're online. You can Google, it's called remote reporting, but you can Google Crime Stoppers, you can search reporting crime anonymously, and that will come up with these organisations. So that way you can actually make a report to police without necessarily saying who you are. Evidentially that might cause us difficulties later on in the investigation, but if you think something needs to be reported, you can do that. The other thing which I think is hugely underused and people don't know about is actually you can send text messages to the police as well. But you've got to register for that. So I registered a long time ago, and I actually registered for nothing to do with really policing reasons. It was because I was going out into the, I'm not going to say wilderness of Scotland, it's not really wilderness, but out into the mountains of Scotland where you don't often have a phone signal, and if you want help you can send a text message to 999 and that will go to whichever service you want. But you do have to register, so to do that, and I'm going to tell you, I hope you remember, but we can get information sent out later if you want. But you've got to actually send a text message to the phone number 999 with the word register. The line sends you an automatic response and you just reply with yes, and then you can send text messages from that point, which is actually a really helpful way. It is, as I said, sometimes quite difficult to get reports of domestic abuse because of that situation. So the other way we often take reports is not from the person themselves, but we call it third-hand reports. But a report of a family friend, a neighbour, someone who works with them, who will report on their behalf. So looking out for each other is actually important. And I'm not meaning this just in the way of domestic abuse, it can be any crime. So if you know that one of your friends has been the victim of an assault and they're apprehensive about reporting, well that can actually be done by other people. And someone else can report on your behalf, or you can report on someone else's behalf. So asking people, speaking to people, because as has already been discussed, it sounds likely that you'll speak to yourselves, your community seems like a great community and really good at communicating with each other. So it might be that you know of something you think that can't be ignored and I feel like you need to report it. There is also a sort of strategy of the way policing works in Scotland that we are duty bound to investigate crimes. If we get told about something, we will investigate it. So if you ever have a consideration of they won't take me seriously, they won't investigate this, we always do, we have to. So if we are told about a crime, we'll do an investigation and try and bring that to a closure. So that hopefully there's like a confidence there that we will take things seriously, we'll always take it seriously, we'll always try and solve that as a crime and investigate it thoroughly. I don't know what our solvency rate is at the moment for even domestic abuse. I don't know. I don't know about the hate crime solvency. I don't know the figures off the top of my head. I would need to look them up. But we pursue it, and we do keep pursuing it. There's also been quite a bit of talk about police officers and some being good, some being bad. I generally think pretty much you get some who are more capable than others, but I've not yet met a police officer that I thought was really bad. That said, the department we work in, we also investigate police officers. So regardless, whatever someone says or whatever anyone does, we'll investigate them probably even more thoroughly than they'll investigate someone else, because we need to make sure that we've got the integrity ourselves to do what we do. If you do want to contact us, it's important you do, in my mind. I know that everyone's sometimes guarded and there's a stigma and it's a challenge, but we are genuinely quite nice and quite approachable, I think. Some more than others. It's the department we work in, because we deal with offences against children, sexual offences, we're always trying to accommodate what people want as well. I can't understand me as a male talking about a sexual offence with a female. It makes people uncomfortable sometimes, and I'm trained to do it, I can do that. but we'll always give a person a preference. So if you don't want to speak to me because I'm male or anything about me, like I don't take that personally. Well, I do care because I'll try not to be like that in the future. But if it's something about me, about the way I speak, the way I look, I don't care. What I want is you to be able to do something in a way you feel comfortable. So if you want to report it to someone else instead of me, I'm more than happy to arrange that and do whatever I can to accommodate whatever you want. I don't really have, I had an idea this is what I wanted to speak about, and it's because it's what I think might be of benefit or might be useful, but I have no idea if I've been totally off the mark. I just talked about it because I really like my job. So I've just talked about my job and why I like it. But if you've got any questions, I am in a department that's quite hard to get in touch with. Even if you are in the police, we're quite hard to get in touch with because we're busy. We sit on the 6th floor at Fetty, so right at the top, nobody even walks past us. So if there are any questions, and it can be about anything, I might not know the answer if it's not public protection. But we are hard to reach, so if anyone does have any questions.
Your contact, you can do your contact details there so we can find them, please.
Yeah.
I think that's,
I'll write up.
that will help a lot as well.
Yeah, I've got leaflets and things like that as well. I also didn't know how big an event this was going to be. I was asked to come speak to you, so I prepared with hundreds of different options to know whether it was going to be speaking for an hour or speaking for 5 minutes, whether it was going to be to 10 people or hundreds. So I've got various things. I've got some leaflets as well. So I'll leave a few in case anyone's interested, but there's no pressure. So I'll put up, we've got an email address and a contact phone number, so I'll put them up. We've got like a direct phone number that you can get in touch with us. Similar to Val and David, we're not the ones to report direct to, but we are the ones for advice. So if there's any advice or concerns about anything which is in that sort of concern, then we're happy to speak about it, and then you can probably gather we like speaking about it. And we will speak to you over and over and over again because we're really enthusiastic about it, because we think it's helpful. So I'll put details up for that. By all means phone us. Even if you're wanting to report something, we can help set that up and arrange it in a way that suits. We're more than happy.
Because some people are trying to come and so they deal with you directly, but if they have your details, they can contact you without.
Yeah, no, we're more than happy. We like speaking to people, so we're happy to do that. Does anyone else have any questions? So I'm enthusiastic, and it's not the happiest of topics. So I've got to be careful with how happy I am and speak about these things. So I'm not planning to hang around too long, but I'll be here for like another 5 to 10 minutes or so. So if anyone does want to talk to me more discreetly, instead of standing up in front and asking a question in front of everyone else, by all means, do it. So I'll like finish my water and hang around outside for a bit.
Yeah, there's a room there. Anybody want private, like conversation with him? Yeah, there's a room next door. Anybody?
Yeah, so I'll be around just for another 5 to 10 minutes. So if anyone wants to not ask the question in front of everyone else. I said a lot of what we do is quite sensitive, so I'm not expecting lots of intimate questions.
Just something to add. Thanks Ian for that. I think this mom perspective, I think for women, women are stronger than they give themselves credence to.
So, just because she's going to go away to London, okay, you have 15 minutes or so, you can just give a speech then.
Okay, please. Oh, please.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say is thanks for having me, because I've not been like you.
Assalamualaikum Good afternoon or good evening, leaders, executive members of the Gambian Edinburgh community. Bring you warm greetings from London. But before I proceed, I would just like to ask that we observe at least a minute silence for our sister that we have lost before I could proceed with my short statement, please. Thank you. May her gentle soul rest in eternal peace. I can send greetings and on behalf of His Excellency the President himself, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians abroad, Her Excellency the High Commissioner, Dr. Fadri Bensouda, I stand before you this evening to extend our profound sorrow in the loss of our beloved sister, auntie, mother, Nata Sector, that we lost tragically a couple of weeks ago. Not only is a very sad incident, but it is an incident that is shaking our community, both here in the UK and abroad, back home in the Gambia. I'm sure everyone is aware of it, and it has shocked us to the core. It is a sound reminder. We had speeches from the police and the lady, Louise, and Koma also stated things that I would have said, actually, but I think they've said most of it. However, it is, that is lost. It is a profound reminder that domestic violence has no place in our community, and it should not be in any form or shape be normalized. We come, unfortunately, sadly, we came from a society where I can say domestic violence is very much formalized, but it's not. Just because something is normalized doesn't mean it is right. It is wrong. And no circumstance, if you know that someone is going through it, should encourage that person to stay. They should leave. For the sake of, some people may say, stay for the sake of the children. But you should actually run for the sake of that same children. Today, we have sadly lost Nata. And sadly, she left 4 beautiful children. They are left without a mother. They are going to grow without their mother. She will never get to see them grow. She's never going to see them graduate from university. It's sad. It's something that touched me personally. I am standing here, not as your councillor at the Gambia High Commission, but as a sister, and I'm urging all of you, please, do not stay silent. I'm urging you, and I'm stressing it, please, report this thing, and do not stay in any form of domestic abuse. It is wrong, unhealthy for you and your children to witness it. It has devastating effect on children especially. No child deserves to grow in a domestic abuse home. They live in fear, in the home as well as when they leave. Children, psychologists or child psychiatrists will tell you, children that live in a domestic violence home, often they have behavioral issues. They leave the home and they are full of worries. They go to school, they can't focus because they are worried about the parent that is going through this. It has a devastating effect during their childhood and when they grow up. And I've always said this, children that also grow up in domestic violence home, they grow up normalizing this thing. They grow up either becoming a victim or perpetrator themselves because it's normal. That's how they saw mommy and daddy work out things when they have differences. The only way they know to solve problems is through violence. So the girl will grow up accepting domestic abuse from the perpetrator husband, and the boy will grow up becoming a perpetrator themselves. It's very much likely that it's proven by study. So we should not accept it. And I think this sad incident should actually make us all commit to saying no to domestic abuse and foster our relationships further. Let us unite, especially our sisters. We should be each other's keepers. Watch out for each other. Report these things, as the police officer said. We should not keep quiet. And the muscular approach we have within our community sadly leads to things like this. Because you will say, "Smoke body, sumajika, supporting dog when you police." But that isn't the case. Because what happened to Natal could happen to many more. And it has happened to many other women, especially in the Gambia. But this is not the Gambia, this is the UK, where people are more protected, where we expect to be safer. This is not the Gambia. We have seen in the Gambia women being beaten to death. We have seen them being injured seriously by perpetrator husbands. And this is not just women, it also happens to men. We recognize that. And it is just not acceptable. It is not normal, it is not right. And like I said, from now on, we should all be committed, very much committed, to get rid of domestic abuse within our homes, our community, and the country at large. What I would have loved to be here. I've never been to Scotland, it's my first time. I would have loved to be here under better circumstances, not this. But I think this served as a reminder and also an opportunity for us to renew our commitment to driving domestic abuse or any form of abuse from our community and society. Please, I urge you, if you're going through it, we heard from the police that you can contact your community leaders, talk to them, you're going through it. You can contact us as the High Commission. We may not have all the resources, but we will signpost you where you can go to get the help. Call the National Helpline. There is a National Helpline for domestic abuse. Your GP, the police, any professional involved with you, they're here to help. They're not working against us. They're not against us. We're working together for a better future, a safer environment for us and our children. And like I said, it has no place. And the devastating effect on children, I cannot overemphasize it. And thank you for listening. It's lovely to see you all, and I hope to see you all again under better circumstances. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
This, wow, Friday all the way to Scotland, this.
Yeah.
They would have had wonderful election.
Just to give a summary of what we do at the High Commission. So, Koma just asked me to just summarize it, just give you a little bit of what we do at the High Commission. So without wasting most of your time, and we're running for the train, the High Commission is important, everyone knows. We're not only here for bilateral relationship between us and the host country, which is the UK. We also have 8 other countries under our jurisdiction. All the 5 Nordic countries, Israel, the Vatican, Pope the Vatican, now Australia and Austria. So we have 12 in total at the moment. Things are changing. We may have more countries on our jurisdiction. Now, our sole responsibility is not just to foster the bilateral relationship with other countries, but also, I think the most important thing, the most important role we are here to play is to ensuring the welfare and well-being of every single Gambian under our jurisdiction. That means ensuring your rights are observed. Whatever trouble you may have, if you feel your human rights or your civil rights has been infringed at any point, you want us involved, you can report it to us. We work with the authorities. We may have, like there is immunity, we may not have audience in the courts, but we can actually go to any meetings, any court hearings where your case is being heard and we can contribute. Yeah? So that is it. In short, ensuring your welfare and well-being is actually met or being met wherever you are under our jurisdiction. And the other thing is the councillor section, which is myself. We actually do document authentication. Say, for example, you bring your passport here. We know Gambians in the diaspora, you can obtain a passport from the Gambia without being present. Some authorities may question that. How did you obtain it? You didn't go. We will write a letter to confirm that it is the authentic document of the Gambia. Any Gambian document at all, marriage certificate, divorce certificate, death certificate, any Gambian document, birth certificate, any Gambian document at all, that authorities require you to prove that is an authentic document, you bring it to us, we will authenticate it. But that will require that it has the stamp from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It has to be stamped back home first. That shows it has been certified, that shows its authenticity, and then we write a letter to confirm it. Authentication, we extend passports, but now since 2022, about 2 years ago, we're no longer allowed to do passport extensions unless in emergency situations. Say, for example, your passport run out without you realizing, and your work is like, if you don't bring it, you're going to lose your job. That's an emergency situation, but I will need a proof that your work will write a letter, that letter, to say you'll be losing your job if you don't have a new passport. And we know it can take time before you get a passport here. So we will extend, maybe then work, or you're attending university, we'll extend for those purposes. Also visas, people with travel documents. There are certain countries that are exempted from visa. They don't need a visa to travel to the Gambia. The EU countries, Commonwealth countries, British citizens, Americans do. They do require a visa to go, and Canada, France. But yeah, so visas, we issue it to people that need it to enter the Gambia. So authentication, emergency travel documents. If you lost your documents, or you don't have any Gambian document, you need to travel to the Gambia, or your passport has expired, you're traveling, we issue emergency travel document. But we need proof to confirm that you're actually Gambian before we issue that. That will mean you have an old or expired passport or ID, Gambian ID card, birth certificate to prove your Gambian nationality. We issue emergency travel document. So those are the sort of things we'll do, and then we also write letters. People that are applying for their maybe British passport, and they maybe have one of their passports missing, or names don't tally, things like that. So we write a letter to confirm the reason why that is. So in short, those are the things that we do. And anything else that it concerns your welfare, just write to us. If you're not sure, we will respond what we can and cannot do. If we cannot do anything, we will signpost you or refer you to the right agents. I hope. Any question? One more. We don't have time. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Well, as a Gambian representative in London,
yeah.
So us now who are living in Scotland, so if you wanted to make any documentation business, you have to travel all the way to London. Did they have any plan to have any, maybe the consulate here in Edinburgh or in Glasgow, which is very close to here anyway?
No, they don't have a consulate, and I don't think they're looking at having one because you're very close to London. So if you can't come in person, you have the option of sending your application. Whatever you're applying for, you can post it to us, and we will post it back. All you have to do is put in your return envelope. We will process your document and send it back to you. Okay? Thank you.